Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be doing a new original tag created by my friend Gareth at Books, Songs, and Other Magic. And this tag is called the Oh, the Places You'll Go tag. And this is what Gareth had to say about it. He said, "This is a special tag with some personal questions and some bookish questions to answer for the prompts." And he went on, "I'm celebrating an upcoming year that features lots of travel and bringing in the genius of Dr. Seuss to do it. For each of the quotes from the book, Oh, the Places You'll Go, there's a bookish prompt and a life prompt. If you'd like to do this tag, I would love to see you do both prompts for these quotes. Either way, I hope you enjoy it." Well, thank you, Gareth, for tagging me on this new original tag. And here we go. Number one, which direction you choose. Book prompt. What's the first place you go to in a bookstore? First place I go would be new books, new contemporary fiction, usually hardcovers first. Then I look at the new paperbacks in contemporary fiction. Life prompt. What is the biggest life decision you've made that has impacted your life? Well, I think I've made a couple of big decisions that have all related to my career. As a very young person, I made a decision to become a teacher, and I was a teacher for almost 40 years. In my early 30s, I entered into training at a modern psychoanalytic institute, and that opened up a second career for me. And I have also recently made a decision to retire from teaching, and each of those decisions has had a huge impact on my life. Number two, too smart to go down any not so good street. Book prompt. What did you used to read that you don't read anymore? I couldn't think of a genre that I used to read that I've abandoned because, if anything, and especially since joining BookTube, I have added on. I've added more things that I read. I haven't abandoned anything. I read what I always read plus some. I think right now, with the state of things in the world, I probably try to read less news than I used to read. But, I can't help myself. I need to know what's going on. So even my efforts to curtail my news intake, haven't really been very, very successful. Life prompt. What have you learned either as a hobby or in education that you value most? Well, certainly a hobby of mine, in addition to BookTube, is physical fitness. And it's something I'm very serious about. I've talked about this in other videos. I have a community that I belong to at my gym, and I am there 6 days a week, and it has been life changing and probably life saving as well. Okay, number three, you'll be seeing great sights. Pick a book with an attractive cover, and Gareth said I picked loads. Well, one that I've shown before, I have a thing about these painted cover editions, and this is the Frankenstein painted cover edition. And I also have the Jane Eyre painted cover edition. I think those are very beautiful. A book that I just recently acquired is 20 Afrofuturist Stories, The Black Fantastic, and this has been published by Library of America. It's a special publication. It just came out in February, and I think that's a very, very beautiful cover. And then a book this was a Christmas gift. A dear friend of mine who knew how much I loved Les Miserables after reading it last year for the first time, she bought me this illustrated edition, An Engaging Visual Journey of Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. And it's a very, very beautiful book. I mean, it's an abridged version of the story, but it is, fully illustrated. And just really, really, really beautiful paintings. I can find almost every page has something on it. So I think that's a very, very beautiful addition. Okay. Number 3, life prompt. What is the most beautiful place that you've visited? Ireland, without a doubt. Everything that we saw in Ireland was just over the top beautiful. Number 4, you'll be the best. Book prompt. What do you feel confident that you know a lot about with regard to books? And I don't know. I think any book that I taught would certainly be something that I would come to know well. And, I taught some books for many, many years, and I would revisit them every time I taught them again. So, there are books that I have read over 30 times because I was teaching them. I mean, there are books that I almost know by heart because I was teaching them. I don't claim to be an expert, but before I would teach anything, I would, study the work in depth, read what was written about it, read what was going on when it was written, so that's how I taught. So things that I taught are things that I know well. I wouldn't call myself an expert. Life prompt. What would be your specialist subject on Mastermind? It's the same answer. I mean, I'm not a specialist in anything. I know well the books that I taught over a long career, and I added many books to my teaching repertoire. We revised curriculum all the time, so I certainly know those books well, but I don't consider myself a specialist. Number 5, accept when you don't. Book prompt. What kinds of books do you feel that you don't relate to? The thing that has surprised me so much about being a part of BookTube is that I just keep adding genres to what I read. Like I was someone who didn't know anything about science fiction, and now science fiction is a huge part of what I read. I'm a person who was afraid of horror, and now there are horror novels that I can proudly say I have read, and some, authors that I look forward to their next book. The only genre that I sort of tried, and it was for a banned book challenge, would be, I guess, what's known as romantasy. That's probably not my thing. We read 2 volumes of the Sarah J. Maas ACOTAR series. I got through the first one. I couldn't get through the second one. So I think that's a genre that's not for me. I don't relate to that very well. Okay, and then life prompt. What is something you've stopped doing or that you've given up on? I don't like that phrase, given up on. I have definitely stopped teaching. I retired from my teaching career, but I don't like to think I gave up on it. I'm still very much in touch with teachers, colleagues, and students, former students. So, I don't think you give up on teaching, but I definitely have stopped my teaching career. I have had to stop driving at night because of some, serious vision issues. I think it's been a good thing for me and for everybody else that I I don't drive in the dark. And even with special glasses, which I have, it's very difficult for me to do. And when I was teaching, I used to leave in the dark of night. I would leave my house at 5:45 in the morning, and I often didn't get home until after dark. So I spent a lot of time on the road in the dark, and I'm very grateful that I don't have to do that anymore. Number 6, the waiting place. Book prompt. Name a book you're excited to read that's on your TBR. Well, this week, Gavin at Genre Books and I are reading Tim Powers' The Anubis Gates. And this is something I think we decided to do a couple of months ago. So that's something I've been looking forward to for a really long time. And in April, Lectin and I, Lectin at Reading from the Depths, and I are going to be reading Adrian Tchaikovsky's Children of Time together. And that's something we're both looking forward to. And something I hope I can get to in April. For People April, I would like to read this biography, Radical Wordsworth, the poet who changed the world. Okay. And then life prompt, what in general are you looking forward to the most this year? We're having a new baby in my family this month. He's due in March, and I am so over the moon thrilled and excited about this. So that's something that I am looking forward to with great anticipation. And number 7, balancing act. Talk about balancing your time between general life and putting out content on BookTube. I am still seeking balance. And I say to my friends who are still working all the time, working full time, I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you make YouTube videos and read and do all this reading while taking care of all of your real life obligations and working full time, because I struggle to balance it, and I have all the time in the world. I don't think I have a good balance. So anybody has any tips for me, I would love to hear about them. And then the final prompt is to tag others. So if you're watching this, I hope you'll consider yourself tagged. And as, excuse me, I think it's allergies. As I always do, I'm going to tag a lot of people in the notes below so we can help Gareth to spread this tag around. So as always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.